Good morning, YouTube. Well, back here again. I got a heartfelt apology to give to you guys. Last weekend here in Australia, it was a long weekend. I smashed out some work, 3 days worth of work. I didn't chuck the camera on. Instead, I just cranked some music and did my thing. You didn't miss much, really. It was just, the last video, we painted the frame in primer, disassembled it, then painted it, and then that was the last video, I think it was. She's all back together and painted. Link bars and everything are all painted. It's all in there. Brakes are assembled. That was a mission. That took me like 2.5 hours. Never done drum brakes before. Give me calipers any day. But yeah, I haven't bled the brakes, but it stops slowly. So yeah, let's have a look. See what it looks like. So there we have it. Painted it with Hammertone chassis paint. I don't know, kind of hides the imperfections a little bit. It's a bit glossy. Painted the rear axle in a satin black. Did brake lines, so copper brake lines, because black and copper, plus it worked. Making brake lines, never done that before. Actually not that hard. Did the brake line that runs from one wheel to the other. I probably should have filmed that, because that was epic. I gave myself an estimate on how much I'd need, and I got it down to the millimeter. One thing I'm going to show you is the rear, or the lower link tabs. I gusseted those in. I'll insert a picture about here of what I did with those. I gusseted them in just for extra strength, but also because the shocks are hanging off them. Yeah, so what are we doing today? Today, I have an issue with my exhaust. If you've watched these videos before, you would have seen me point out the fact that my exhaust hangs about an inch under the frame. So I am going to, actually does it even, that's where the frame swoops up. I don't know if it does hang under the frame. I'm gonna measure that. But if it does hang under the frame, what we're doing today is cutting up the manifold, the headers, and we are going to shorten them and then build an exhaust system. I'll do some measuring off camera, see if it actually does hang under the frame, and if it does not, then I won't be touching the headers, we'll just be building an exhaust. All right, let me do that. Actually, this thing needs its exhaust done, desperate. But it goes up. It needs its exhaust done. So, let's do the exhaust. So here's a familiar sight. It's up on jack stands. But how else are we going to get under the truck? This thing is not ridiculously low, but it ain't high enough for me to climb under. Anyway, this is what we're working with. We are recycling. So this was the original front piece or middle section. Then that there went up over the diff, or if I wanted, I could have it dumped before the diff. Now, I don't want to run it up and over because there's no room. I still want it dumping before the diff. But this thing, just straight piped with a sports muffler, was ridiculously loud. And I don't want to draw any more attention to this thing than it's going to get. So I'm going to put that section in the middle somewhere. So the plan is to cut this all apart, have the separate sections, and weld it all together and make one short exhaust system that's quiet. One thing I just realized is I need gaskets. So we'll make it all up and then I'll go to the parts store and get some gaskets. Anyway, I'm gonna get cutting. So we've got it all cut up. It's gonna go something like that. So it's gonna go headers, high flow cat, flexi joint, middle muffler through to the sports muffler. Now, I'm not an exhaust guy. I'm not even a welder guy or a fabricator. I'm a guy who's trying to figure it out and keep the flies from his nose because it is stinking hot today. So on what is prepping up to be a 40-degree day, this is what you want to be wearing. It's the perfect attire for Australian summers. A thick jumper, jeans, and playing with fire. So let's try and figure something out. Let's try and do this. What's keeping the sweat out of my eyeballs? Man, I look old. It was my birthday, like 10 days ago. Yeah, so I'm getting old. Probably too old to be doing this sort of stuff, or society-wise, too old to be doing this shit. But I couldn't do it when I was younger. Doing it now, like most of us. Let's play with fire. The last time I tried welding my exhaust, I had, for real, never picked up a welder before. And I knew nothing about welding. There were holes blown in it, there were holes in it, there were exhaust leaks everywhere. Like if we actually inspect the exhaust and the sections that I welded, it's just covered in soot. It's black. Right here. There. So I shortened a bit of the tailpipe. You can see had a good leak. It was the same where I put in the flexi joint, because I got the original exhaust made with the standard manifold, and then I got the headers, eBay headers, and they dropped down a little bit lower, so then I had to put in a flexi joint to make up for the difference, because that's just how I fixed it. And anyway, long story short, I've gotten a bit better at welding. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm better than I was when I did this. So let's try and do something better. That's good. Welder's just decided it doesn't want to send a wire, so I'm going to fix that. Go eBay welders. It's actually pretty good welder. I don't know any better, but it's a pretty good welder. It's done the job. I'm going to fix that and then So it turns out that the cable that feeds the wire from the unit to the handle is snapped. Heat shrink and airline. Let's see if it works. Seems to work. Now, before I go and send this, I'm going to put it on the truck and see if it fits. And why have I put the cat straight off the headers? It's got no tube on. Eventually I may want to run a air fuel ratio gauge because I might want to. Okay, I'm going to jump under the truck and see if this fits up. If it does, we'll weld it. Alright, so I can indeed confirm that that first tacked attempt did not fit. It was smacking on the gearbox cross member. So I cut it all apart, that's why we do tacks. And then I actually just tacked it while it was in the truck, or on the truck. And now there's lots of clearance. I've come to the realization and the acceptance that this truck is not going to lay frame. It's going to be about maybe an inch off the ground. I'm okay with that. Sure, it'd be cool to lay frame, but it is what it is. So if there's a few exhaust components hanging a little bit lower than the frame, I'm okay with it. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's do the magic stuff with the weld stick and stick this together. Stick a couple of tacks on this side, stop it from moving. Done burgers. I ain't no exhaust guy, I ain't no fabricator, no welder. We already heard that. But, those welds are definitely a lot better than the welds that I did when I first did it. I mean, it's only one section, so. Just having a quick update as to where I am so far. So I've got the cat and the flexi joint. How to tell I'm not an exhaust guy? This has taken me an hour and a half. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna put the middle muffler up into there and just keep on trucking. Anyway, there's heaps of clearance between the exhaust and the cross member. That torsion bar is obviously gonna go when it comes to front bags, but for now it's staying. So yeah, I'll prop the exhaust or the center muffler up and we'll see how that's gonna work. So that's where that muffler is gonna go. It sticks a little bit down from the frame. That's all right. So it does go up a little bit. So I'm gonna measure in between there and there. And I'm probably gonna use that little section there. I think it's perfect. It'll work. And if it doesn't, I always thought it would have. Update time. Front part's welded, middle muffler's in, it's on a hanger. It ain't bad. Time for a sound check though. This is how hot it is out here. I don't know if any sweat fell off my face, but it is sure as hell dripping and I'm looking a bit like a wild man. Let's go start it. See what sound check is with a muffler. There is of course going to be a couple of exhaust leaks because there's no gasket on the main front flange. But missing a little bit. I mean, that was cold start. You shouldn't rev the engine straight off cold start. But that sounded good. It's definitely a lot quieter than open headers. Time for the rear muffler. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm wrecked. Yeah. Next bit you'll see me. Maybe I'll show you that one. Maybe I'll just show you when it's finished. Who knows? Rear section I placed up in there and just tacked it in place. Now, final send it. I thought I'd put a little bit of welding in this video because I haven't really put any welding in this video. But you all know what welding looks like. But you're going to get some anyway. Here we go. Is this perfect fit up? No, it ain't. Is this redneck as shit? Yeah, it is. Is it going to work? Hopefully. Well, it won't work without an earth. So I should probably put one of those on. That's welded. It's that's on there. This is by far one of the most redneck exhaust systems. No, it's not really. But it's pretty bad, it's pretty redneck. So it's got one hanger. I just need to figure out another hanger because it can't survive on one. Yeah, I'm gonna figure that out. Well, I'm gonna let it cool down first because it's bloody hot. Then I'll figure out a hanger. And there we have it. Just made a bracket, hung it off the lower link bar. It is all in there. Bring it around to this side, show you the underneath. And a little bit. Oops, camera malfunction. So, there we have it. Exhaust to the back and to the front. Sound check. That's exactly what I wanted. It's quiet, nice low grumble. That's a good sound. Gets up there when you get on it, but it idles just nicely. Alright, that's all I'm going to film for the day. I really don't have much to do. I've got to fix the air leak in one of the bags, bleed the brakes. My son wants to help me do that, and he wants to get on film a little bit, so we'll film with him bleeding the brakes. It'll be fun. Alright, so I got the little one out here to help me bleed the brakes. So, you all know how bleeding brakes go. I unlock it, he pumps it, I lock it, he lets go, I unlock it, he pump. You get the idea. Alright, so fire it up. Always 2 starts. 3 starts. Then time's the charm. Alright, so I'm going to call out press it. I want you to press it right to the floor. Okay? So hold on to the material, press it forward your way, press it to the floor. So when I say let it go, then it goes to the floor. Okay? You understand? Go. Press it. Let it go. Press it. Let it go. Press it. Let it go. Let it go. So because it's new airlines and there's no line in the back, I'm going to pause it, then once we get some action going, I'll bring you back. Alright, so the little guy helped me bleed my brakes. They're making some weird noises, but they haven't been used for a while, so thanks mate. Good job. Yeah. You're going to see him a little bit more when it's less dangerous for him to be out here. Especially when it comes time to paint, I'm going to let him and his sister just go feral on it. Yeah. Press 3. Yep, stop. Now press 4.
Well, like,
Like Iron Man, huh? There you go.
alright.
Come on. Thanks for your help, mate. Good morning. It's been a couple of weeks since the last clip, which was the exhaust. The exhaust is on. It sounds great. I'll take you for a ride when it's ready for the road. So last weekend I jumped out in the garage, did some stuff, cut the floor out of the tub. That took me a while, and then I've placed it there. It's on jack stands and jacks. It's all leveled. Didn't film it because I had no idea what I was doing, and it took me 4 hours to cut the floor out. Trial and error. But what I am going to show you is today we're going to build a frame to attach the tub to the chassis. Get rid of those jack stands. And hopefully we won't need to see the jack stands again until we do the front. Now, it is the rear wheels are sitting not center. I did that on purpose because when it lays out, the wheels move forwards a little bit. So when the wheels move forwards and it's laid out, they will be centered. When it's rolling, no one's really going to pay that much attention to it and be like, oh, your wheels aren't centered in your tubs. I know. But the idea is when it's still, then it looks perfect. So, I got me some box steel. Let's just get into it. No more talking. Let's just get into it. What I will show you is how it's sitting. So everything's level. As you can see here, level, level, level. And that body line runs in all the way down. Now I've also closed this gap up a bit. Before the bed came off and we did all this, you used to be able to stick 2 fingers in there. Now you can't even stick a sideways finger in. Just wanted to close it up a little bit, which is one of the great opportunities of resetting your bed frames, I suppose. You get to set it where you want. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to cut out along there, so the wheel clearances, which will take out some of the bracing. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to use the factory tubs. I tried to cut them as nice as possible. Yeah, we'll make all that work. But where I have to start the bed frame is obviously, it's got to clear this. It's got to clear the tank. So I'm going from here, that middle bit there, across to the other middle bit. I did take some measurements. We got 148.5 centimeters. And from the front to the back, where that will be positioned, will be 144. So let's get started. I'll clean up all the paint on the tub. We'll cut some stuff. Alright, so we've got it positioned where I want it, I believe. I want it to sit straight over the body mounts for the rear. So let's just tack it. Just tack it. Probably help if the welding mask was clean. That's it. Alright, so there's that one tacked in. Took some measurements from top of the tub to the top of that, and it's 20.5 centimeters. So I took some measurements from the top of that directly down. I want these bars to run over those mounting points, and then it's going to intersect with this bar here. So 20.5 centimeters from the top of the tub, because that's relatively level, puts me there. Problem with that is it's not flat, so I'm going to have to get creative and figure this out. That was, I can't remember, didn't write it on the truck. I think it was 137, so I'm going to cut a piece to, I'll figure it out. 137 with a little bit of a, that way. Let's go figure that out together. So it's a good thing I remeasured, because when I measured from the rear pole to the front of the tub, I hooked a tape measure like that. Now that would be adding an extra 25 millimeter, 2.5 centimeters. So this, I measured it again, it's 134.5, because that's where I want it to meet. I don't want it to cut through and weld on top. 134.5. Let's write that down. Now I'm going to add an extra centimeter to go up over that little tip. So we've got 135.5. Figure that out. I've also got 134.5. So that's what the majority of this length is going to be. 130. I'm going to go launch. Put it the same way as the truck. Something like that. I'm going to cut it there and around and come back out. So it's like a little peak because it goes over the moulding where the old wheel tub sat. Right, let's give that a go. Work it way or I'll weld up a gap. That's what we've got. I'll just see if the general fit works and then we'll clean it up with the flat disc. It ain't bad, not mad at that. And this rear bit here, it's pretty square. Same old deal, and tack it up. Jump on that side, same. So we've got 3 poles welded in, well not welded, tacked in. Now I'm going to go from that one to that one. Yeah, and that's where this comes in. YouTube magic. That bar's in. You didn't want to see me do that. It was boring. Measure it, cut it, weld it, fit it. All right. So now we got the frame in there, tacked. How are we going to connect the frame to the chassis? I'm going to build some stilts. Got a few ideas, had a few ideas buzzing around in my head. Let's see if A, I've got the hardware in my bucket of bolts, and B, let's see if I've got the know-how to do it, or the winging it to do it, like everything else on this truck, just wing it. So, bed stilts. Already made one. I've raced ahead and done all the fabrication for everything. Now I'm just going to put them all together. Basically, plate with a captive bolt, stilt. I put the captive bolt where I want the mount to go. Shimmy this in, attack it to the plate, I weld it to the frame. That's it. I've got one in there. I'm going to have to take the tub off again and do some vinyl welding and stuff like that. But hopefully it all works. It doesn't fall apart the moment I take the jacks out. So yeah, here's one. Later enough, took the kids out bike ride, spent a couple hours with them. So not much has changed. I put another little bit in there. I'll probably end up putting some in there as well. Just so there's more than 4 contact points for the frame to the bedside, tub, whatever you want to call it. This thing. Yeah. My brain. There we have it, folks. Tub is on, jack stands are gone. It's not solid, but it's holding its own weight. Clearly, my airbags have got a slight leak after a week and a half, nearly 2 weeks of sitting there. They aired out a little bit. Obviously, I have to cut out that because the tire is now sitting on the guard supports, but here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. 4, 5, 6. 6 bag mounts. Fully welded up from the top. Obviously, I'll take the tub off and welded up from the bottom. The lower plates are just tacked in there. I don't want to put too much heat through it because then it would get through to the paint. So, see, just tacked in there. Didn't want to burn the paint out. That tire there, well, that wheel there, that was 80D kicking in. Pay no attention to it. That's not going to be the color. It's pretty cool though. I do like it. Like bronze from this side, then you walk over, and it's like purple. Anywho, I'm going to set you guys up here. I'm going to give it a start and turn it around so when I come to take the tub off, it's going to be easier for me. Alright team, there it is. Back in the garage. Pretty happy with that. It's not perfect, but same old story. This whole time along, this truck ain't perfect. But it works. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. That's the end of this video. If you've watched, thank you very much. Peace. Like, comment, subscribe, all that normal YouTube stuff. Thanks for watching Crazy Goose Garage.